Alright, so trying this again.
Find the control terminal they left for the synthetic caretaker. It's in a storeroom up ahead. And for God's sake, do it quietly.
So,
Citizen's been trying to sell that whole outfit for years, along with Sebastopol. No one ever bid, but it means security's still online.
Okay, enough talk now, Waits.
yeah, we did see the synthetic caregiver at the end there. He was in that little room with the booth. But yeah, this is pretty straightforward every time that happens, really. And I mean, as soon as it beeps at you like that, the alien is pretty without fail. I don't think he's ever not come. Even when he's very recently left this immediate area, like because I've got him to come down at some point. He'll always come running back really fast. Which is dangerous. Because if he's moving quickly like that, you have less time to react to him. Whereas if he's not really in his like aggressive mode, he's just kind of looking around. He's generally moving pretty slow, so you've got a lot of time to like walk around him. That is sort of a bit of a reason why the alien is difficult to avoid compared to some other enemies in the game, is because of his walking speed and his occasional running. You can't really outmaneuver him that easily. So I figured out the timing a bit better here compared to last time. I didn't open it while it was already pointing at me because it can kind of see through the desk a little bit, the camera, sometimes. You can see this little animation. I really do like the animations though, even though if you do end up seeing them a couple times, they are all like they add a bit to the game, make you feel like you're actually interacting with things, kind of give some feeling about the character. Since she's supposed to be a bit of an engineer or a tinker or whatever. So he saw me right away. We have a fight. But he's not apparently going after me immediately. I don't remember what happens here, honestly, so we'll see. I feel like this area wasn't the greatest overall for my level of success. Success being not dying, I suppose. Is he seriously right there? He's not moving very much if he is. Oh yeah, he is. Okay. That was interesting. Pretty close to dying there. When he does that little like run at you thing, he does a bit of damage. So yeah, the reason I'm not going straight for the doors, it seems a little sketchy that since he knows where I am, I would just immediately tend to ignore that and try to unlock a door with a little plasma torch. This is pretty dangerous. Also, I have a stun baton equipped for some reason. Okay, well, I know the desk is pretty safe, probably. I'm probably saying that right now in the game, actually talking about how awesome being under a desk is, because, you know, generally works pretty well. So if I'm under a desk, I'm pretty sure I like distinctly remember the 2 times that being under a desk didn't work. So yeah, reasonably confident that I'm not going to die immediately here. Now he could just like immediately drop down on me as I'm opening the door, which may happen, especially since I have a stupid stun baton equipped. So if he does do that, I'm not really having much success. At least the stun baton's loaded this time. It's slightly better than last time. This is always the worst. You have to finish the animation, right? Even if he stops dropping right down beside you, which is maybe a little bit of a failing of the animation system.
How are you?
So he's actually not aggressive here. I actually kind of assumed he would be aggressive. I think that's why I had the stun baton now. Although to be fair, fighting a synthetic seems like a pretty excellent way of making an alien come after you.
This facility is off limits to visitors, unless they have armed the Sebastopol.
So she's actually hitting me while I'm using the computer here. So I beat him to death, you know, because I'm a little pissed off at his bullshit. Fortunately, the alien does hear me. And I choose to not really react very much to it because I'm in the wrong room. That was a bad assumption to make. Because then he rips my head off. So we can do this one more time at least. But you know, I've learned all the threats in the area now, so chances are pretty good that I make it this time. So yeah, there's a couple distinct threats. I mean, you can kind of get the feeling of how they design these things a little bit by experiencing the various threats in the area. I don't really care if I talk over them anymore. So you've got like the primary loop of the game, which is like the camera, the little thing that lets you disable the camera, the fact that the camera summons the alien, a couple areas to hide in the immediate area in case the alien does get summoned. And then you also have the sort of like stress added factor of the door that needs to be cut, which isn't always normally a thing, but definitely happens here. So yeah, I mean, if you happen to time it right and just come around the corner at the right time, you can just walk right up here. The camera does not do anything intelligent, obviously. And of course, the final part of the gameplay loop that I didn't know until just now was that the synthetic caretaker does not want to let you access that computer, and you do need to access that computer. So you need to find a way of getting rid of the synthetic caretaker without getting the alien to come after you, because in that area there's not too many places to hide, so you're in a little bit of trouble if you get him to come out. So I mean, in theory, the alien doesn't even have a reason to come down here because I haven't made any noise yet. I obviously feel a little bit nervous about him at this point for whatever reason. Maybe I heard him or something. It just... yeah, okay, he's right there, that's fine. It does always feel a little disconcerting trying to cut doors in this game because of the animation thing I was talking about earlier. That's part of like the stress loop. So you have to basically get stuck against the door. And at least I have the flamethrower equipped this time, so if I do have to cancel it, actually the button for that is not placed on there, but anyways, then I could. Yeah, so that little falling noise scared me. So I like kind of go back over here. Just in the off chance I need to hide under my super safe desk again. But he didn't care. Certain noises he really likes, and they can be really quiet. Even other ones like really loud cutting of a door panel, doesn't really care about. So we don't know we need the computer yet at this point, because the last time I was trying to use it I got beaten to death. So we're just exploring now. There's often good stuff in these little like end rooms. I mean, this floor plan of this room is recycled a few times, and I feel like there's often good stuff in here, just because there's so many like different containers, and like flat surfaces to put stuff on. Seegson regrets to inform the Gemini Exoplanet Solutions will receive no further funding. Seegson does not liable for the time remaining on Gemini personal contracts. Please talk to your line manager about the study shutdown and what it mean to you. We would like to take this opportunity to personally thank you for the time you spent with us. And there is a key code. Restoring power. Key code 8897. So I think I figured this out relatively quickly, that making a service request is going to get the robot guy to come check things out. And that is just an ultimate entrance. Yeah. We're a little nervous about him still, but he seems to be pretty happy performing maintenance on the terminal. However, he is now no longer guarding this terminal. So why don't we use that and read these messages? Actually, I don't know if I actually bother reading them. I'll try to read them super fast. Power budgets are just... oh, okay. Yeah, we're not going to have time to read that. Basically, I just didn't want to get attacked from behind by that guy again while I was trying to read the computer. Yeah, I don't really have a reason to go in there yet, so I was just like checking it out because before I hadn't been able to enter those. On the other side, they're not enterable right now. Or at least they weren't. So this area will become an area I get to know pretty well in a short period of time. But for now, actually there's no immediate problems here. There's just a save point, which is kind of amazing, given that I had to redo that last area a couple times. We don't even have the hostiles nearby warning, so pretty safe. Which is a nice change. So yeah, there's a caretaker in here. I'm supposed to go up this ladder. Ladders are generally a good thing in this game because they are escape route from androids. Androids can't climb ladders, so if you have an android in an area and you have a ladder in the same area, you know you could get away at least temporarily. Which is nice. Because androids and aliens being in the same area is a pretty rough combination. Because the androids are extremely good at tracking you. And that's dangerous, obviously. It just chirped at me. And that little chirping noise from my motion tracker was the alien coming into the area once it heard the motion tracker chirping at me, so... chances are he'll drop down pretty quickly here. Yep. He already has, apparently. Yep. It's the same idea with the cameras. The alien hears the cameras and either really likes the noise they make or is intelligent responding to the fact that cameras are meant to detect people. Yeah, I guess that's one slight disappointment is they don't necessarily show too many instances where the aliens were quite smart. I feel like it's a little bit of a missed opportunity. Like, it would be kind of interesting if they did a couple scenarios where you and Waits, for example, were kind of assuming it was a bit more of like a dumb animal, and it turns out that it's actually pretty smart and can outsmart people occasionally. Yeah, that's dangerous. There's not really much space for it to get back here, though, and even if it did, there's no way it could have the right viewing angle to see me under here. So this area is actually completely safe, which I don't know, in a way, kind of makes the game less stressful. Just because there's guaranteed ways out of things. But I mean, a lot of the time there isn't, so I guess I probably shouldn't complain. Because you don't always get nice desks to hide under. And even when you do, sometimes they're laid out in such a way that, like that desk there, for example, you can definitely still see you under there at certain angles. And if you get stuck under there, you can't really get out without him definitely seeing you, so you might just end up dying, because 8897 is, I was talking about how this wasn't the greatest place to hide. 8897 is not the password for that thing. It is definitely the password to restore power to the vicinity. So trying that was maybe a little bit silly, but well, I was just optimistic. You get one passcode, you might as well try it around in a couple places. Maybe they're using them, who knows. Here is an ion torch upgrade thing required. However, it did say USS Nostromo on that computer back there, in a way of terminals that are normally important, like the story terminal thingies. Yep, that's what I mean. I probably should have just gone straight up to the camera there. This could end badly. Oh, apparently I can't see me behind this one. It could definitely see me behind the other one, but I guess this one's a little bit higher or whatever. This is good though, so now we can get up to the camera. Putting the camera disabling tool panels directly in the same room as the camera seems a little silly, but who knows, maybe they don't have money for actual security system. I mean, like, what was the point of a camera system that chirps at someone when you don't actually have any security guards. Well, I guess the point there is that they may have had security guards in this area, and they were all murdered mercilessly by the alien. So now there's no one to actually respond to trips of the security system, which makes a bit of sense. Removing brace is always good. Gives you an alternate way around the level. Does leave you slightly open to getting destroyed by the alien, but you know, there's only so much you can do to reduce that. Sometimes really trying actively to minimize risk, it just ends up adding a whole bunch of time to the game. In some areas, you kind of might even get killed in an almost unavoidable way, like you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and there's not much you can do. The alien drops down and kills you. So, yeah, I didn't really want to go in there. Seems like a really obvious bad plan. Just follow the trail of blood into the tunnel. That's a great idea. He doesn't actually have anything else, does he? Yeah. Also, you have to really get up in all that blood, which is kind of not the greatest. Yeah, I don't actually know where I need to go here, honestly. I was pretty sure that I had to activate something up here. Apparently I'm just gonna climb down the ladder now. Well, maybe I did accomplish something by pressing various buttons. Definitely should save. Yeah. Hostiles nearby this time. So yeah, he probably wasn't being counted as nearby before. He was in his inactive state because I hadn't made any of the security systems boop or any noise, so... He was technically in the area in case I did, but he was not active. Breaker reset required. Oh, yes. So, yeah. If you can't loot them, they're not dead. Thankfully, this doesn't count as rise. I think. It probably should. Can't go there through there yet. Oh, we already tried that. Apparently I'm a little confused too. Oh, okay, well there's a marker right there, so that's not a big deal. So I must have hit something up on the other floor to reset the location of where I needed to go. Too many sensors, interesting. I'm actually pretty much maxed out on items now, which sort of is the state up until pretty late in the game when I start actually using a fair amount of them. Just because a lot of times using the gear is pretty strictly optional. Therefore, if you don't happen to use too much of it, you end up with a whole bunch of extra. Now, to be fair, like, having 3 Molotovs, you can go through 3 Molotovs really fast in an area if you want to. Like, if you throw one and you miss, for example, and you have to throw another one not to die, that is 2 out of 3 gone for one, like, I don't know, 20-second being free of the alien. So, having a whole bunch of this stuff doesn't necessarily help. You're still totally capable of screwing up just because you got yourself into a bad situation. Yeah, so some more stuff is turned on here than used to be turned on, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. The cameras in this area aren't really a huge threat unless you just happen to be at the wrong place in the room when you like enter the camera scanning area. Or you're like me and you're a little impatient and try to like sneak up to the camera when it's kind of looking at you just because you don't think it can see you. Yeah, so I'm starting to get a lot of extra stuff here, but I don't have the right stuff for the EMP miner still, so... Yeah, so, I think, yeah, and the EMP mine is actually like... Yeah, I can make more medkits, I guess. The EMP mine is actually always like pretty much the most expensive item in the game. Which, I don't know if it makes tons of sense, because, like, what you get from it isn't that amazing. It, like, well, okay, it does completely lock stun, like, all of the, like synthetics in an area, which is kind of a big deal at some points in the game when there's more than one. Because normally if there's only one and there's no alien, it's totally preferable to just stun baton them and beat them to death because it's guaranteed to work, and it's basically free. Like, stun baton charges don't really have much other use other than on people, and there's not that many people in the game that you actually need to deal with directly. And a lot of them are in a pretty active awareness state, so it's difficult to sneak up on them anyways. So it makes more sense to just shoot them, or just completely avoid them, one of the two. Oh, hey. Yeah, so these work pretty good. Like, I didn't even really hit them very directly there, but they do have a little bit of a splash, so that was all I needed. I don't actually know if he ever goes into this particular tunnel. There's other ones like this where he does, so I'm not, like, particularly safe here necessarily. Especially not to be completely not paying attention and crafting Molotovs. That was just funny, I clicked all the buttons. He's on the other side of this wall right now. Oh, I think he just walked by. No, maybe not. That's just the door closing. Yeah. So he could be right there. But okay, he's going this way. Yeah, sometimes the motion tracker gets a little like weak weirdly. Maybe there's some electronic or magnetic interference or something in the area. Or maybe it's just malfunctioning, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense that it would be like the only thing in the game that doesn't require battery recharges. It's kind of a nice thing. That would be pretty annoying if your like motion trackers shared battery life with your headset, for example. Yeah, I'm just trying to get clear of the doorway here because he looked like he was kind of following me. He might not actually be on the ground though, to be fair. That's the issue with the motion tracker, obviously, is you don't get vertical awareness. You just get a pin on a map. Oh, he's definitely in here now. Okay. Yeah, so this is a pretty great place to hide because you have that barrier thing in the middle and you have the basically a desk on the top, so it's pretty nice. So we've reset the breakers in this area, so we should actually be able to access that computer now. That's why I'm back here. I haven't figured out what I need to do with the computers yet, of course, but... Is he gone? Yeah, that was the beeping noise. Okay. So, alien's gone. Gonna go save because we had to restart that first area multiple times, so why do it more than times than necessary? And yeah, there's the computer right here, which is now functional. I think I might actually read these just because I have time to. No, there's nothing to read anyways. Yeah, immediately assume that sucker definitely isn't allowed to this. Now, you may have noticed that there was two options there. There was service request and there was initialized distribution conduit. The distribution conduit is, I guess, some sort of power generation or sharing device. I'm not really sure why it needs to look so weird. And so it's definitely required to get to the next area. The tricky part is, as you can see there, it's only active for a short period of time. And I am apparently going to do this twice because I didn't learn my lesson the first time. Yeah. So you can't just turn it on. That's not how it works. As nervous as I am about making noise. Oh, did I actually call him out there? Interesting. Oh yeah. Okay, so he goes to the computer and messes with it. Now, if you look to the right of where that first column is just going up and flashing, you can actually see the hand panel that I'm supposed to be using to activate it. Of course, it doesn't explain this to you, but that is what I mean to be doing right now.